Welcome. I'm Catherine Brunch of Canine Support, and thank you for joining us today for our last video to celebrate 50 years of Tellington TTouch. But we are going out with a huge bang because I am truly honoured to be joined by the amazing Linda Tellington-Jones, founder of Tellington TTouch and Robin Hood's older sister. Thank you so much for joining me, Linda. It feels very special to have the opportunity to celebrate the 50th anniversary with you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. This is such a joy for me.
It's so much fun. And I thought I'd put in because it's always Robin Hood, Linda's younger sister. So I thought I'd switch it for a change.
He's the smartest.
I don't know. Your memory is just incredible. It astounds me at how you can remember all the stuff, all the names, all the books you've read, all the places you've been. It really is amazing. But let's start off with so we've been celebrating the 50 years of TTouch. How does it feel to have created something that not only has been going for half a century, but has also spread around the world?
It's an incredible blessing. I mean, I am so grateful for all of this and the fact that we've had so many incredible practitioners who have found the work and then taken it and just gone on. It started with horses and spread to dogs and cats and wildlife and zoo animals and farm animals. And I'm just so grateful. And I have to tell you all, without my sister Robin Hood, we wouldn't be here today because she was always there. We were discussing from the very beginning, like in 1978, when I graduated from the 4-year Feldenkrais training. And we sat together and we said, wait a minute, what should we call this stuff that we're doing with these awareness things with horses? And that's when we came up with Tellington Equine Awareness Movements, because in the beginning it was the movements, and that's what makes the Tellington TTouch method rather unique, is the fact it's not just body work, but actually moving, the work that we do, moving through things and over things and under things, and the equipment that we use, and our philosophy, this concept that if we want to change our animals' behavior or performance or your relationship with your animals, you have to change your mind and actually visualize what you want instead of focusing on what you don't want. And years ago, when I came up with this, I had no idea. I mean, this is the law of attraction. It's absolutely true, and it's proven by quantum science. It's so interesting. What we focus on, we get.
Absolutely.
And
And
that's so important to understand.
it is. And how did it come up to be? Because I think at one point it was T Team, wasn't it? Then it went to T Team, and then it turned into T Touch. How did it turn into T Touch?
That's a really good question. First
Oh.
of all, it was just TEAM, TEAM,
Mm.
telling equine awareness movements. And then in 83, when they brought the T-Touch in, it was T-Touch, Tellington, it was T-Touch Equine Awareness Method, not movements.
Right.
And then what began to happen when it became very, out there in Europe, people started just using, you couldn't put any protection on team because everybody has a team. And that's why we changed it to Tellington TTouch. And the thing that also happened, Catherine, that was interesting, originally I thought of like Tellington, the Tellington method. And then when we got the TEAM, I was thinking that was like Tellington touch method. But then you can't put 3 T's, Tellington TTouch method. The extra T came in one day when I was in Germany at a big horse expo, and I had like several hundred people in the stands behind me, and I was working on this really difficult horse, and suddenly I could see she just got it and really started to trust me. And it's like I just felt, wait a minute, trust. We're talking about it's a it's a touch of trust, and that's T-Touch. That second T in T-Touch has stood for trust for years now. Yeah,
Amazing. It's
yeah.
brilliant.
That's how it
And
got there.
sorry?
That's how it got there.
Yeah. It's because
And, but I
some
have
people
to,
might think it was like just Tellingtons, but just like taking the T from the Tellington, but it wasn't, was it? It was
well, that was
about
part of
trust.
it.
Yeah.
But
It
the second T was trust. And
yeah.
I just have to say this again. For
Mm.
those of you who worked with my brilliant sister, Robin Hood, I had the privilege of naming her because I'm 15 years older than she is. And she was born, somehow my mother gave me the privilege of naming her. And it was obviously Robin Hood because I had a brother John and a mother Marion. And Robin had a show horse named Friar Tuck at one point. And so when she married Feel Pretty, she just kept her name.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And without her, we wouldn't be here today. I mean, I am so so incredibly grateful because Robin is better at all of this than I am because
Oh,
I brought it into the world, but she's just brought so many incredibly wonderful clarity to the book. And the fact that she kept that newsletter going for, I think it was 17 years. It was an amazing newsletter that we had.
yeah.
And still does the work online. Now she's doing it online with Mandy Pretty, my incredible niece.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me on to, because obviously I would love to sit here and talk about your most fascinating life and how ahead of the times you were. But actually, you've already done a video series with Mandy, haven't you, about that? Is Fearless with Linda Tellington-Jones, the YouTube series. Do you know where Mandy's interviewed you and you've gone through your life with her?
Oh, I forgot about it.
I haven't.
Oh, good. She
So
was so
yeah,
good at that.
so
That
so if people want to listen to your life from almost kind of day dot, wasn't it? And then to I can't remember where we got up to the last one I watched, but it's fascinating. They can find that on YouTube. What's it under? It's just under Linda Tellington-Jones. Can't remember
or
off the top of my
it,
head.
I'm not sure. It could be Tellington
Hmm,
TTouch Canada. I'm not sure.
no,
That's a good
but
point. We should find out, right?
I'll find a link for it and stick
But
it
I
somewhere.
do want to say one thing, Catherine, that I
Yeah.
didn't, and that is it's just amazing how much intuition, unlearned knowledge that kept me going all these years. Because for my birthday in 1967, I saw an advertisement in the San Francisco Chronicle, a huge newspaper, and it said for $5, you can right away and receive a astrological projection of your life. And one of the first ones done on a computer. And I only one other time in my life did I ever write away for something. And that also was a major deal in my life because it started me on the personality analysis with horses. But when I got this was a beautiful little booklet put together with a ribbon. It is actually, I still have it in a case, 98 pages. And the big thing that got me and why we're here is it said that in my lifetime, I would develop a form of communication that would spread around the world. And in order to do so, I would have to learn to trust my intuition. And I
Mm.
had no idea what intuition was. And I went to my husband's library, and my husband, Wentworth Tellington, my first husband, was 20 years older than I and had a wonderful library on science and spirituality. And I just walked to the library and reached up and pulled down a book. And I recently found the name of it, and I can't remember it right now, but in the index, intuition was described as unlearned knowledge.
Mm.
And then years later, somebody, and I wish I could find that person, sent me a book called Intuition by a woman named Judy G. It's Gee. And this is what I believe is the definition of intuition. It's the manifestation of divine consciousness within you, just connecting with this incredible divine universal consciousness in every cell in our body. I mean, that's amazing. And that's what I believe this is. So I just started following my intuition. That's the first thing that brought me to the UK. I was invited, and I always used to think, okay, I had a lot of choices. Does that feel right, or does that feel right? And I used to imagine I was like like a fairy, and I put out these feelers. And does that feel right, or does this feel right? And that's how led me to Russia, where I went 10 times as a citizen diplomat, just to connect with the people and through the animals, find a common ground with us.
Mm,
And so many things that I've done in my life and so many people I've met were because I just had this feeling I should do that and follow it.
amazing. Bit like
Yeah.
my feeling of I should do this.
Right, exactly. Like what brought you to it, to the work?
So that was my dog Keto. So she was 4, and we lost my other dog. She had cancer, and they were like a couple of bookends, thick as thieves. And so when my older dog died, Keto just became reactive to everything. And I knew that it wasn't that a training thing. It was I needed to develop a bond with her, just me and her, rather than the three of us.
Interesting.
And yeah, and so a friend said, have you heard of Tellington TTouch? And I was like, no, what's that? And luckily there was a practitioner that lived near me. And so I had a couple of sessions, did a couple of workshops, and I was hooked, and that was it.
Love it. And the thing that I love so much, people say, well, there's so much to learn. And so I've been asked many times, okay, if you had a choice, would you choose to do the work on the body that we call telling to touch, or all this other work like the ground, all these beautiful movements that we do from the ground? And Catherine, I couldn't decide because
Mm,
it really depends which your animal responds to first. And it's so interesting that we have these various possibilities and this basic, all this equipment that we use, and this beautiful new movement that Robin has now developed with the connector, which makes it
mm.
so easy to stop a dog from pulling. It's
Yeah.
just like wild.
Yeah, it is. And it's also dependent on the day, isn't it? Because what worked yesterday might not work today or tomorrow. And that's the amazing thing is there's so many different variations and ways that we can change it. So like using the 9 elements of T-Touch, all these different things that we can do. Because if it's not working, we can just change something and off we go.
Exactly. And that's a little bit hard for some people because they want black and white. They want that left brain logic, but that limits our creativity and
Mm,
our feeling, our connections with our animals.
yeah,
Interest.
absolutely. What else have we got? So, looking back over the years of teaching, how have you seen T-Touch evolve?
Well, I think the biggest thing to me is finally the realization after all these years that it is unbelievable how much what we think, what we feel, what we believe affects our potential to work with our animals.
Mm,
And because this idea of like, how come, why is it that we have so much success? This is my question for years. Wait a minute, how come a child can do these little tiny, gentle, very soft movements of this 1 1/4 circle on a shoulder that hurts? This happened to me with someone I was staying with friends, and this 11-year-old child we were working with mini horses, and I was kind of doing this one evening as we were sitting, getting ready for dinner, and she said, is your shoulder hurting you? And I said, oh, it's just a little sensitive. And she said, may I do T-touch? And I can still feel her little paw prints here. And the fact is that in this 1 1/4 circle, we discovered years later, thanks to a young savant, who came into one of my classes that this 1¼ circle is that known as the Fibonacci spiral. And it's called the golden circle spiral, golden spiral. And it's the same form as our DNA. And the fact that when we move like this, it's like I feel like I'm turning a key that allows me to enter this phenomenal intelligence in every cell in our body. I mean, it's absolutely been known for years that each cell in the body is a reflection of the entire universe. And also it's known that our cells have this amazing innate potential to heal our bodies.
Mm.
And the fact is, it's like turning this key and entering that and just recognizing that potential. It's the divine connection. It can be called source, universal intelligence, all it is. And when somebody says to me, gosh, Linda, I don't know, I don't really believe in a divine source. And I said, well, have you ever considered how come you think you can see? Why does your blood flow? Why does the lymph work? Why can we speak? And it's interesting because in one of the latest books that is recognized as the new direction of medicine, it's called The Song of the Cells. And in it, they say, wait a minute, we know there are tens of thousands of known exact function of the cells, how they work, which part does what, but nobody knows what's behind it. And so they call it command central, and each cell is that command central. It's also called, I believe, it's the divine intelligence. But the science, they don't want to get into anything of religion. And so as soon as you say divine, or you can use source or universal energy, wait a minute, how come we can see, feel, hear, touch, do all this? How can I move?
Yeah. And that spiral, if we think of things like shells, how they spiral round, and like
Exactly.
ferns when they unfold, and even in our ears, there's a circly bit as well.
Yeah, exactly that same spiral form. Isn't that fascinating?
It is. It is brilliant. When you start looking, it's crazy.
We're
Um,
miracles.
so over the years, you've had the opportunity to work with so many different species. Which animals or experiences have been the most memorable?
I think one of the most memorable was a young bear that it was about a 6-month-old bear that was separated from his mother during the Mount St. Helens eruption in I think it was the 80s.
Mm.
And there were many bears, young bears that were separated from the mothers, and they were picked up by, the Fish and Game. And there was one bear and they couldn't release them. And so somebody had heard about our animal ambassador program and called me, and I happened to be in my office at the time in Santa Fe and answered the phone, and they asked if we would be willing, would the animal ambassadors be willing to pay to fly him down to Texas and have him checked out by Texas A&M Veterinary Hospital, and then we would rehab him. And we did that. And listen, Catherine, the first time we got him out of the crate, and Marnie Reeder took him into the vet center because her partner was a veterinarian at the Texas A&M vet school, and they put him through over some things just to see how he was. And when he stood up, had this little quick shake in his body. So then we brought him to a home that had a Great Dane and a big kennel and a big doghouse, and put him in there. And at the time, there was a group of school children in Austin, Texas, who were making films about animals. So they came and filmed him. And so the question is, how are we going to make him comfortable around us? First of all, to see if we could help this, instability in his body, first of all.
Mm.
So he was in this big doghouse looking out, and the children around the fence. And I walked in, and I just kind of sat down a little to the side, not exactly in front of him, so that he had a space to come out and not feel trapped. And then I just started quietly talking to him. And I have these pictures where I took his paw in my hand and I just did little circles on his paw, really light, and just said to him, literally, like, just be very careful of these claws. Just be aware of them. And then I did T-touches on his ears, and I'd only do this for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I'd just do a little and then sit back and give him space, and then I'd do it again. And after about the third time that I was doing this, and we have these pictures of him, I sat back and he looked at me and he walked slowly out, and I was squatted on the ground. And we have a picture. He came up to me like this, and with his lips really carefully took my eyelashes and just lifted one and put it back and went this slowly to the other side, lifted my eyelashes, put it back, looked at me like this, and then walked over, and we had a big tub of water sitting there. It was really hot in Austin. It was like in the hundreds, and sat in the water. And he was never afraid. I mean, it's so interesting.
Wow.
That
That's
was, I
amazing.
think, and I mean, I've had many incredible experiences with different horses and dogs. I think I want to tell you another story about a dog.
Go on.
This was a dog that was rescued by friends of mine who had they had a big wildlife place in Texas, and the dog wasn't eating, and he was really depressed. And I was there actually doing something for as a fundraiser for them. And they asked me to look at him, and I just got this impression of this dog that he didn't know what happened to his owners. And you know how you get these intuitive feels? Because we didn't know where he came from. They didn't know anything about him, where they picked him up from the shelter. And I had this feeling that he didn't know what happened to his person. And I have no idea if this is true, but this is just what came to me. So I talked to him about it, and I told him, and I was doing these T-touches on him really quietly, just to bring him into the body, because when you're depressed and afraid, it's like you're not in your body.
Mm,
And just talking to him and say, I'm sure he's going to be just fine, and you're with us now, and these people are going to really love you and take care of you. And just by talking to him, and connecting, and the T-touches on his body to bring him into the body. Because if you ever been heard this term, I was so afraid I was scared out of my body, it's
mm.
just like, and it brings him quietly in, just into the body. And he started eating that night. And I just heard the most incredible story yesterday in my online class. Oh, I have to tell you this
Go on.
because people need to hear these things. So this person, she's a riding teacher, and she goes to different stables and works with the students and the horses. And she was just leaving last week, and this one horse just had a, when anyone came past the stall, he'd pin his ears and often charge, with his teeth bared, really afraid and really unhappy. And she felt terrible. And so she stopped and she just talked to him and said she felt really, so bad for him. And she's just going to imagine doing these T-touches in the air around him. And oh yeah, she started with this. This
Mm,
is an infinity flow. And she just started with that. And when I do it, I just move my body a little bit with it, and she did this for a while, and he started to change, and his ears started to soften, and his eyes softened and came up. And he actually came up and touched her in the end with his nose. And she was just so blown away by it. And a couple of weeks later, she had to go back to get some to the stable. And when she came in the stall, the horse came right to the front of the stall with his ears up, and again just touched her with his nose. And she's so, like, as you can imagine, moved by this, and was very sad because she couldn't be with him. And she taught one of the people there how to do some T-touch on him. But I said to her, you don't have to worry, because once we're connected like this, you're always connected to them. And that's actually been proven by quantum physics. So
Mm,
some
amazing.
really interesting studies that have been done. So we can reach out to our dogs if we're not with them, or dogs that we work with in a workshop, and maybe they don't have the ideal situation, and we can just stay connected and don't feel sorry for them, but say, wow, I'm sending you this appreciation and love. And it's so incredible when we recognize the intelligence of our animals when we see them. It's about seeing them. I call it the wow factor. It's like seeing the beauty, seeing this amazing creature that brings so much love into our lives.
Yeah,
Kids
and just
don't,
that feeling of gratitude, isn't it? Do you know that they are in our lives?
it's the gratitude. Yes,
Mm,
that's what makes a difference.
yeah,
An attitude
definitely.
of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for those of us that are old enough to remember the film Free Willy, you actually worked on the Orca, didn't you? Who I had to Google it, and I'm not sure if I pronounced this right, but he was actually called Keiko. Is that how you
Yes,
pronounce it?
that's right. Yep.
How was
Yeah.
that? How was that working with him? Was it him or was it a girl? Can't remember.
Well, they called it a male. I don't,
Yeah, no, I can't remember.
I don't ever remember a real discussion of that.
No.
Interesting. So you say, but the thing is, he was in Mexico City, and I was doing a workshop in Santa Fe where I lived, outside of Santa Fe. And a veterinarian from a close town, Albuquerque, came to my dog workshop with her mouse, believe it or not. It's a mouse named Ace. And she'd gone on vacation with him. And when she came back, he was really unfriendly and started biting her. And so she brought him to find out how could she, reconnect. What could she do? And so I just took two little feathers. We had, these bird feathers, and just started doing one little feather, just holding on his back and doing little tiny T-touches with the other feather and talking to him. And she didn't realize that he really missed her, and he didn't know that she was coming back. And that's the thing, when we leave our animals, we need to tell them when we're coming home and stay connected. You can just imagine your connection. That's what is so important. So we don't feel guilty. Oh no, because if we go away and feel guilty, they can't understand what's wrong with us. Why are we feeling like this? So you can stay connected. Anyway, this veterinarian wrote to me sometime after this workshop. And by the way, Ace, like in less than a minute of T-touches, she could do it, and he forgave her. He just needed to tell her this is not okay. And she had the T-touches to make that reconnection and apologize. I mean, we don't realize how smart these animals are and how
Yeah.
connected they are to us. So she wrote to me and she said, there's this orca in Mexico City, and he's really unhappy because they've taken away, he had two sea, I think it were sea lions. I can't remember, seals or sea lions. I have to look at the pictures again. And they had put them with him. And for some reason, the reason they started to change the temperature of the water. So it was wrong for these other animals who were with him. And those were his friends. And so they were separating them, and they were crying. He was crying and calling back to them. And she asked me if I would go and work on him the next time I went to Mexico. And actually, I flew down there just to see him. And when I walked down into this big, it was one of those SeaWorld, like, or
Yeah.
what do you call them? Anyway, and it was between performances. There was no one there, and he was down with the trainer. And when I walked up from the top, I just stood there and I called to him with this orca call that I had learned from being with wild orcas off the coast of British Columbia in him with um, during a research project that was being done with communication with orcas. And with Jim Nolan, actually, who had interspecies communication organization. And so I had called to him with this call I had learned. And when I walked down, he came right over to me and followed me around to go to the other side where the trainer was. And she was just amazed because one of the reasons I'd been asked to come and work with him is he was really shy. And the people who had done the movie had actually decided they were going to release him. And, you know, um, they had this huge movie that was a big success, but they didn't have the money to take his trainer with him. They were going to take him without the trainer. And she was so connected with him that she hadn't been able to take a vacation forever because he would go into mourning and cry and
Oh,
just moan, when she was not there. And so I did a fundraiser at a horse expo in Germany and would read horse personalities, and they would give a donation toward the trainer going with Keiko when they took him to Oregon to rehab him,
yeah.
to release him. So anyway, she and a friend went with him, stayed with him for, I think it was like 7 weeks. And when they finally released him, maybe you read about it at the time, he just went off and started connecting with people off the coast of, I think it was Norway. And which is what they didn't want because they didn't want him connecting with people. But that's who he knew. He was captured at 6 months old.
Yeah.
And so they moved him again farther north. And the story was that he died of pneumonia because it was too cold. So he eventually died.
Mm,
Never did find his pod. That was their hope. No.
yeah.
So it was very sad. But what I want to say about that, rather than seeing the sadness, is to think of the incredible gift that he gave us, bringing awareness to these orcas and the whaling that was so many whales were being killed and at the time.
Yeah.
And that really brought awareness. And Jim
And
Norman's,
and that they have feelings and emotions as well, isn't it?
but completely like we do. I mean, that's the
Mm,
thing I don't realize. Did you saw the movie, right?
yeah. Yeah, I was a kid at that time.
Oh my God. I remember going with friends, and when I walked in and you can hear him crying when they captured him and calling, calling. And when I heard that, I just started sobbing and I couldn't stop. I had to actually leave it. I couldn't stay in the theater. It was so you could just feel his terror. I don't know how people see that.
No.
Anyway, he brought a lot to us. He brought an awareness of these animals, and that
Yeah.
was his gift to us. And I
Yeah,
think it's important to remember the gifts also, not just the tragedy.
definitely, definitely. And is there one message you'd most like viewers to take away from today or 50 years of TTouch?
I think it's this concept of realizing the incredible connection and understanding beyond our imagination, this wow factor of when we see our animals, when we recognize that every cell in the body has this potent, phenomenal intelligence, this universal divine source intelligence. And so seeing the beauty, seeing the miracle that they are, and the gifts that they bring to our lives, every time each one of us does that, it goes out into the quantum field and makes a difference and encourages other people who may have that tendency but don't quite trust themselves.
Yeah,
Spreading this word of wow. learn to listen to your animals.
Mm.
And it doesn't mean letting them do anything they want. We all have to have boundaries, giving boundaries so that they can be safe and we can be safe and they can become good canine citizens and
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
with kindness. And that's the thing I just love about TTouch. We can do this with understanding and kindness and clarity and boundaries.
Mm.
And like, wow, you are a miracle in my life. Every little dog, from the tiniest one to the biggest one, they're miracles in our lives.
Aren't they just? Aren't they just? And I've got one more question, which I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer. What is your favorite tea touch and why?
Well, I do. I think it's this concept of this T-touch from a distance, knowing that whether we're just off the body, if the animal is afraid of being T-touched, and if I'm going to work off the body, say this little tigger is afraid of being T-touched, I can work on him from a distance, but I have to be careful not to look right at him. I want to stand a little to the side if the animal is a little nervous, and I won't point my fingers. I'll soften them because look, if I do this to you, you can feel that, can't you?
Yeah.
Because I mean, intuitively, that that is something that could be dangerous. I could grab you. But if I use the back, just the side of my fingers like this, isn't it different? And I don't, like, say you're a dog at the back of a kennel who's really afraid, which we often work with downers. I don't point it at them. I turn a little to the side and I work on the ground around them, first of all, until I see the dog begin to relax. And then I may use the back of my hand like this. And you can actually work with your animals off the body if they are afraid of being detached or being touched at all. And so many people say to me, oh gosh, not so many people, but often I get people who listen to my talks online and they say, well, my dog doesn't like it. So I'll say, well, come on Zoom and show me what you're doing. And it's off, their hands are stiff and tight and they're holding their breath. And
Mm.
all you have to do is start breathing, and you can do a little humming or singing and just use the back of your fingers with the actually lightest touch, because remember, we're giving them a message. And if you, instead of coming from a place of fear, oh, am I doing this right? He won't like it, come from a place of love. And love is defined by Gary Zukav as appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness, understanding, compassion. So many, just these positive things. And when you bring that into the work with the dog, forgiveness for your animal, and forgiveness from you for maybe not being perfect in your approach in the beginning. Yeah, we put
Right.
that out into the universe, out into the quantum field, and know that we're making a difference when we just recognize that, because we're validating others who can feel that.
Fantastic. I love it. And I can't go without asking you to do the demonstration of the daddy long legs.
Ah, that's a really good one. I wonder if I could bring my little dog up and show it to you, because um we do all these different touches and like the tarantula touch.
Yeah.
And I was working on an 18-year-old Jack Russell. She's the one who taught me this. And she'd been since she was 6 months old in a family who worked with horses, and there was a hunting dog in the family also, but they could never pick her up. And because she hated to be picked up, so she'd just and they'd let her go. And so I was asked to come and look at her because her husband thought she should be put down because she would have sundowners. So like means at a certain time in the evening, every evening, she'd just start pacing back and forth in the kitchen, and she'd often poo and pee. And he would step in it because he couldn't see it. He's pretty tall and wasn't looking where it was going. And so he figured it was time for her to cross the Rainbow Bridge. And I was called in to say, did I agree? So I was told she can't see and she can't hear. So she would walk by me. I have this video, maybe you've seen it, walking
Yeah.
by me in the kitchen, right? And so as she go by, I just, let's see, I've got to have a little skitter to show you. Oh, Fabio, where? Oh, he's right there. I just go like that. Like as she walked by, I got no more than that. And she went by a couple of times, and as she'd go by, I would just go like that. And after about the third time she'd walked back and forth, I had to go to the bathroom, and it was at the end of the kitchen. And I walked in there and left the door open, and she came in and touched me with her nose. And I thought, man, she does see something.
Yeah.
So the next time she goes by, I do it again and she stops right when I got to her ear. And I just held my finger there and she pushed down into it. And that's how I realized, wow. And we had a Westie at home and she was okay with the T-touches, which I used because of fear of loud of firecrackers
Mm.
at New Year's. And she just loved that skitter. And so many small dogs I find really like this. It's just like it, it's really fun.
And isn't there a sound effect that you should make with it just to make it even more fun?
I don't know what I do now. I forget. I
I
mean,
think it went
in something
boop,
funny.
something like
Right.
that.
You're right. That's a really good one. I mean, and it's so much fun. It's like skittering along.
Mm.
Our dog now is 2 years old and he has the zoomies. So he just flies, in the several times during the day. And
Yeah,
he just loves that when I do that.
brilliant.
And they're all different. So some love it and some don't. And that's you have to find out for others, they might like you to go slower or
Mm.
lighter or a little differently. Let them tell you what they love. So experiment.
Yeah,
That's the
fantastic.
point.
Amazing. Linda, I really can't thank you enough. It's just been so enjoyable sitting here chatting with you. Congratulations on 50 years of Tellington TTouch, and here's to the next 50 years, is what I say.
Yes, and all of you, all the practitioners and Mandy and Robin and everybody will take on. But can I just take, like, it'll take me three, maybe 5 seconds to get my dog and let's say hello
Yeah.
to
Yes, yes,
Fabio.
do.
Fabio, he's a rescue. I'll show him. Here he comes. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Stand up on me. Come on. That's a boy. Come on. Thank you. Now let's see if I can pick you up here. It's a little. He actually weighs 17 pounds, which you think isn't much, but it's quite a bit. Here he comes.
There he is. Hi,
Uh,
Fabio.
yeah.
Bless him.
See, good boy. He has a mane.
Yeah, it's matching with yours.
You're right. And his tail
Oh,
comes up
bless.
over his back. He's called a hairy hairless because he doesn't have hair. He's a Chinese crested hairy hairless. Like our dog before didn't have any hair on his body. He just
No.
had a mane and he had long, beautiful, they call them furnishings, but they're like feathers on their ears.
Yeah. Oh,
He's such a
bless
love.
him. He is.
Hi to all of your other doggies.
Marvelous.
Look at straight and make a sound and have him look at you.
Fabio.
His actual name, his whole name is Candela, because that's the name of the kennel. My Angels, that's the kennel of the male. My Angels, making heads turn Fabio.
Oh,
And he didn't
brilliant.
make it in the show ring. That's how we get him at 2 years old. We're so blessed because he was afraid. And the person who bought him as a puppy didn't do what they should do is take them out and get them used to other dogs. And They have
Yeah.
to love being in the show ring, yes, don't they? Yes, they have to use that. Yeah, yes, it's a good boy. Yeah. So from us to you and all your doggies and all your other animals too, much love and many blessings.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Linda, for being here. It's been awesome. And please enjoy the rest of your day. And
Thank you.
happy Thanksgiving and happy Christmas.
Thank you.
Cheerio.
Till next time.